Crossrail is on track to be up and running by 2019, bringing an extra 1.5 million people to within 45 minutes of central London. The new service will give commuters from Maidenhead a direct link through Paddington to the city, including stations at Liverpool Street, Canary Wharf and beyond. The Advertiser Express spoke to Crossrail Service Director Matthew White at the new Paddington station for the latest on how construction is progressing. Okay, it's Michael Owens here for the Maidenhead Advertiser at the box at Paddington Station with their Crossrail Service Director Matthew White. Thanks for joining us, Matthew.
Pleasure.
First of all, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on here in the background behind us?
So we are underground in what will be one of Crossrail's new subsurface railway stations. We're standing just over the point where Crossrail trains will whisk passengers from Berkshire and West London through to central London and Canary Wharf and beyond.
Excellent. And what benefit is the Crossrail going to bring passengers from Maidenhead and the rest of East Berkshire? Is it because, of course, there are already fast trains that take them from there into Paddington?
Crossrail will provide a step change for users of public transport. Crossrail will give people choice about how they want to travel and where they want to travel to. People from Maidenhead and Twyford will be able to travel into Reading, or take Crossrail, stay on the same train and travel right through into central London for any other further connections.
So how crucial is Maidenhead Station still to Crossrail? Of course, it started as the terminus, but the line has recently been announced that it will be extended to Twyford and Reading.
So plans for Crossrail are that with our new 200-metre long trains carrying up to 1,500 people, we will still run 4 trains an hour to Maidenhead in the peak, and we will extend now 2 trains an hour beyond Maidenhead to Twyford and Reading. And that really maximises the opportunity that the railway gives Crossrail. It links Maidenhead with Reading and also keeps Maidenhead as a terminus for those 2 of those trains an hour to run into central London. It won't affect the fast services running from Maidenhead. But the amount of money that Crossrail is investing, which is over £2 billion in the existing rail network, does mean that passengers will benefit, even if they're on the fast services, on a more reliable railway.
Excellent. So what stage is the Crossrail project currently at in Maidenhead?
So Crossrail out in Maidenhead, we started approximately 6 months ago with some enabling works, and the works will continue over the next 2 to 3 years as we make modifications to the station to increase the capacity of the platforms, create new platforms, and of course put up the overhead wires that the electric trains will rely on.
So, and what will be coming next? What will commuters and passengers see going on around the station in the coming months?
Well, we've got to take down the existing canopies at Maidenhead Station to allow us to put up those overhead wires. We also got to create some sidings just to the west of Maidenhead so that Crossrail can we can stable our trains overnight to provide that early morning service.
So when will all of the major works take place, and what kind of disruption will there be to both rail passengers and also to commuters using the roads around the station?
What we try to do is obviously make sure that we minimise the amount of disruption that is caused by the construction of Crossrail. But it is Europe's largest construction project. We've got over 10,000 people working on Crossrail across 40 sites. There will be a degree of disruption, but we do keep that to a minimum. Our teams on the National Rail Network will be working mainly nights and bank holidays, so that if we do need to close the railway to do some crucial works, it's done with minimum disruption to passengers travelling.
And can you tell us a little bit about that rolling stock that you said would be kind of housed around Maidenhead Station as well?
So we do have Maidenhead as a terminus point for housing the Crossrail trains. They'll be housed just west of Maidenhead, between Maidenhead and Taplow, and that's crucial for us, and it's part of the provision that we do need to have those early morning trains running so that passengers have that choice.
With the work that's being done at Maidenhead Station, how will that work fit into the town centre, both with improving facilities for commuters, maybe with extra car parks, improving facilities for taxi ranks, that sort of thing?
So what Crossrail does is we work very closely with the boroughs in Berkshire and Maidenhead, and we've actually jointly developed a master plan for the area around Maidenhead station, which the local authority will now use and take forward to try and find funding routes to make some of that a reality. We also coordinate with local public transport bodies so that they can plan their changes to their businesses, buses, etc. when Crossrail comes along in 2019. We're very much concentrating on the railway provision, getting passengers connected from Maidenhead with central London and Reading. Anything outside the station environment, that's for others, the council and public transport bodies to set up and change.
Also, I wanted to ask you about the extension that was recently announced to Twyford and Reading. Can you tell us why that wasn't considered at the start of the project and why it's been decided now to make that extension?
Well, it was considered right in the early days of the project, which was why we actually, the government set up a safeguarding directive so that if it ever came into being, we could use the planning powers that were gained through that. With the capacity enhancements at Reading, but crucially the extension of the overhead electrification through down to Wales, Crossrail has the opportunity to use that infrastructure that's about to be built. And it's with that and making the timetable more efficient that we can run those services onto Reading.
Excellent. And finally, just wanted to ask you about just what kind of improvements Crossrail is going to make to the passenger experience. The line from Reading through Maidenhead into Paddington is kind of notoriously one of the least popular lines for commuters in the whole of the country, really. Packed platforms, delays, that sort of stuff. How is their experience going to be improved?
Well, we are, as Crossrail, I'd say we're investing in that national rail network on the Great Western. Some of it is quite old and fragile, and Crossrail is investing in renewing that to make it more reliable, the signalling system, the track and the overhead electrification, so that Crossrail will provide a more reliable service than people have seen to date.
Excellent. This is Michael Owens reporting for the Advertiser Express.